Titties.
This
What?
is sports stuff with Jim and Muff. And apparently, Jim inserting what into the conversation?
Titties. I just always wanted to be like, jump out there and start the show. Just messed up.
I like it.
There
Intrusive
it
thought.
is.
Got it.
We all know what's on Jim's mind right now. Let's not check
For a
his
second,
search
I thought
history or ask for him to share his screen at the moment.
for a second, I thought Tourette's guy was on the call.
Uh,
Well, today
Everybody remember
is
Tourette's guy on YouTube?
yeah.
Yeah.
today is Monday, October 30th,
Bob Saget.
Yeah.
and Jim has just typed 8008 into the chat.
1-3S or 1-5.
What?
You're
Oh,
overcomplicating it.
yeah.
No,
135.
135.
Yeah.
That was
I'm guilty of doing that to other people's 10 keys at the office when they leave their desk.
We are juveniles.
We have just crossed that line. I don't know if this is explicit yet, but it's definitely not PG. Today's Monday, October 30th, and we're going to start out somber note. Rest in peace to former Penguin Adam Johnson, who was cut by a skate in the neck during a game in England and later passed away. I'm assuming this was shortly after the incident itself. So rest in peace to Adam Johnson. All the thoughts and prayers with his family, friends, and everybody in his circle at this time.
I mean, so bad that they had to cancel the game right then and there. Like, ball game over.
yeah.
Couldn't imagine witnessing something that gruesome live at a hockey game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It had to be. It wasn't like, oh no, I'm cut. I skate over.
I came across the video.
Oh,
I don't even think I want to see it.
I did not want to watch it, but it did come across in a search when I was just searching for more information about what had happened. This is before I even knew that was the cause.
oh.
So yeah, not something that I suggest anybody go looking for. And it wasn't like an up close view of anything, but just it's bad.
So even you say they should have canceled the game, like for sure. That's how graphic it was.
Yes, very much so.
I mean, if you think about it, it's no different than when they canceled, like when Damar Hamlin went down.
Yeah, I think it is. I think I understand what you're saying, but like the graphicness.
Oh yeah, no,
You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, like the concept that somebody's life was in danger,
Man,
precedes finishing the contest.
Yes. So yeah, it's no bueno. No bueno. Don't go looking for it. Definitely not worth your time, and there's no reason.
T's and P's. T's
Yeah.
and P's.
So I mean, that I've not seen that shared broadly any other way. But it's people saying
It probably
hey,
shouldn't be.
Oh no, definitely not.
Probably should be taken down.
I'm just imagine it probably is being taken down when seen in the Twitterverse. But people were posting the video of his first NHL goal. Like, hey, let's stop talking about this and let's at least celebrate the fact that he did have a career and it was ended abruptly and tragically. So as always, thanks to everybody for interacting with us on the socials at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, sportsfw/JBFCMuff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get that bell on.
Ding ding.
Ding ding. During football season, we also have the betting episodes that are coming out on Thursdays. This week will be interesting. I don't know how everyone else did, but I had a absolutely terrible weekend.
I came out a winner.
I had my first losing week.
Oh, I did better than both of you then. It wasn't great though. Like I think I won. Like I'm 1 over 500.
Spoiler alert! I went 2 and 3.
Nah, spoiler alert! I only won one.
I think I went 5 and 3, maybe.
TBD. All right, let's get into NFL this week. Breaking news. Breaking news. New report is in. Insert name of some quarterback from the NFL has gone out of today's game with some type of injury. Insert the no name who finds himself in a no-win situation, and ultimately that team loses the game.
I need you to not say that because like the Chargers are playing right now.
Well, it's been the theme.
Something
That's-
may or may not happen in that game, Jim.
Not okay.
And for God's sake, for Christ's sake, can we do something about the turf at MetLife?
I agree with that. As much as I hate going, oh well, Muff, the turf there needs to go.
I mean, something clearly happened.
The players that went down with injuries on Sunday in the Giants-Jets game included Tyrod Taylor, which his was, I don't think, impacted necessarily by the turf. It was a rib injury. It could have been impacted by the turf. Don't know.
Keep the needle away from him.
Darren Waller for the Giants tight end, Jets wide receiver and punt returner Xavier Gibson, Jets defensive tackle Al Woods, Jets center Connor McGovern, and then Jets backup center Wes Schweitzer all went out during that game. And I don't even know if that was the full slate because I think that was it like 3/4 in when that was posted. So there may have been more. I just don't know about it yet.
Ridiculous.
Got to figure something out there. But Aaron Rodgers was slanging that pill pregame. Yeah.
What do you
Anybody
want,
else see
Muff?
it? Anybody else see it?
I did see it.
Oh, look at that. Aaron Rodgers.
His arms didn't break, Muff. It was his feet.
Right, but the fact that he's actually dropping back and throwing the ball 6 weeks post torn Achilles.
Maybe
And
it wasn't
granted, it's
really
not the
torn.
it's not the full drop back, but still.
I don't think it was really torn. I think it's a conspiracy.
Oh, jeez.
What? Pray tell the conspiracy, Jim. I'm curious.
I just think it was to get sympathy. He knew his team wasn't going to be that good, so he faked it so they can push his alternate medicine agenda.
Don't think there's any alternate medicine being used in this particular situation, Jim.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. At the end, he'll tell us it was ashwagandha.
What?
It was
the
ayahuasca.
What was the gemstone he put in his butt?
Yeah, some gemstone in his butt.
All right. Thursday football started with the Bills starting to look like they're going to give themselves an easy win after multiple weeks of lackluster play. But the Bucs make a valiant effort in the final minutes, only to lose the game 24-18. For the Bills, Dalton Kincaid had a bit of a coming out game. Nate, how you feel about the Bucs after this game, and overall, what do we think this says or does not say about the Bills moving forward?
I think the Bills are starting to trend back in the right direction. It was a good game for them to get their feet back under them. And as a Bucs fan, we got to be able to run the damn ball. Bring back Leonard Fournette and get some sort of bruising running back outside of Rashad White, who's not a in between the tackles kind of runner. Because that defense isn't going to be able to carry you in every game.
There we go. We
I
now
think that-
we now know.
I don't think you're asking him the hard pressing questions. Like, I think the better question for Nate is, how do you feel about Baker?
He's mediocre at best.
What do you think that's where you should look next season?
Yeah, I think you got to, whether it's in the draft, whether it's in free agency. I don't think Baker's a long-term answer there. I know Mike Evans is looking for a long-term deal. I would get him signed before I would even look for a quarterback. I mean, you've got the weapons there. It's just a matter of finding someone, even if it's like a Kirk Cousins or a Jimmy G, that's more of a game manager kind of guy. You don't necessarily need a guy. It's nice, though, with Baker in there to maybe use his legs, get you another first down, extend the drive, whatever. But, I mean, you've got the weapons on the outside there. You just need someone who's consistently able to get them the ball.
Okay.
All right. Any thoughts on the Bills?
Nope.
I don't think they go very far this year. If they make it in the playoffs, I don't think they go very far.
Yeah, they've been very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Moving into Sunday in the early slate, Kenny Pickett goes out with a rib injury right before halftime, and the Steelers offense continues their struggles, this time against a red-hot Jags team who win their 5th straight.
Fire Canada.
I mean, they're training in at sports that are completely unrelated to the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point.
Indeed. Jags win 20-10. The Steelers also lost Minka Fitzpatrick early in this game due to a hamstring injury. Jags doing things, winning 5 straight after their early season. Were they going to be middle of the road, or what's going to happen? And they have proven any doubters to the contrary to this point.
They feel like the Chargers of old. Like, I don't know. I don't see them going very far. They'll give a lot of hope to their fan base, but I think in the end, they don't make it out of round 1 of the playoffs.
Mitch Trubisky spelled Kenny Pickett in this one and did his normal things through interceptions.
Yep.
Wonders why he wasn't a starter coming out of camp.
You Yinzers, how you feel about your Steelers? Just packing it in?
No, I mean, they're still in second place in the division, and they have they're 2-0 in division as far as their win-loss record. So there's still a lot of time for them to play those games in division and make up ground if they're able to play well. I think most concerning is what's the future of Kenny Pickett and Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett, there was no update on. I was looking right before we got on. They basically said that they'll have to figure it out this week sometime. So
yeah, then I think Deontay Johnson got hurt a couple of times in that game, but he came right back in.
Yeah.
And then Freiermuth was out again.
Yeah, Freiermuth. Yeah, I think he's got 1 or 2 more.
He's on the IR.
Yeah, 1 or 2 more weeks before he comes back in. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know what to say at this point, Jim. Aside from the Steelers are probably better off overall than we thought they would be at this point. And to Nate's point and Alex's support, what are we going to do with Matt Canada?
So we're firing that guy.
should.
Who makes that call is my next question. It's not Tomlin, right? Like, that's not at his pay level.
That's the management, general management owners.
Well,
I mean,
I'm sure
Tomlin has
Tomlin's
input. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's his staff, but ultimately, that's got has to get the blessings all the way up the chain.
So, are you guys okay with that? Do you guys think the Rooneys are gonna keep him despite the fan base? Like, they're not gonna be pushed around?
Yeah, the Rooneys are not gonna be pushed around. They're probably gonna defer to Tomlin and the GM.
So then they're not gonna fire him despite you people who keep chanting for him to be fired.
But we're gonna keep chanting.
It's still gonna happen.
But don't you see that, like, this is similar to Ohio State mentality here, that, like,
is it?
No.
Is it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is it? Because
how? I don't even
Pittsburgh's
know.
undefeated right now.
I can see Jim's point. In a way it is, because it's like, oh, well, we're not playing well, let's get rid of somebody. But at the same
it's been
time,
years.
right, but at the same time, it's not like do or die like it is in Columbus every week.
My whole thing is that when you call for changes, it typically is not going to happen despite the fan base. Like,
At least we're consistent. We won last week and we were still chanting it.
so is Ohio State's fan base. When they want rid of Kyle McCord bad, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, there. It hasn't been multiple years of terrible.
Okay, never mind, guys. I just think that maybe we stop cheering it and you might get your change you want.
No, I don't think that's the thing. I don't think chant it, don't chant it. I don't think that has any. I think
Fair
that
enough.
if the Steelers have notoriously always been the team that keeps coaches forever, and I don't think that the Rooneys are people who are ever going to be pushed around with chanting or not chanting, or they're just going to do what they think's best.
All right.
Raheem Mostert scores his league-leading 9th rushing touchdown as Miami gets back in the victory column with a 31-17 victory over the Patriots. Tyreek Hill goes over 1,000 receiving yards for the season, is on pace to be the first wide receiver in NFL history to eclipse 2,000 yards. Tyreek going to get there?
Fuck you, Dave Portnoy.
Because that has something to do with Tyreek.
Don't care. Every time the Patriots lose now, he's now on the equivalent of Sad Dabo for me.
No, I know why he doesn't. Why? Because he's pointing out the whole. Michigan Ryan Day link.
I mean,
Screw you, Dave.
Portnoy. It's at least get his name right if you're gonna.
I don't have to respect him. I don't need to get his name right.
Why? Because he's pointing out facts.
What? Oh, we'll get into that at college football. Put a pin in that, son.
All right, how do you feel about Tyreek Hill, Jim? Is he going to get over 2,000?
Yes, for sure.
For sure. Yeah, barring injury, I mean, I think he's going to get there. I think the whole offense is set up to feed him the ball, and they will get there. The Dolphins have been selected for the in-season Hard Knocks episodes this year. I am excited.
Very much so.
Listen to Mike McDaniel talk.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm curious how much does he give him? Is he going to be like the Mike McDaniel in the interviews, like post game, and just kind of like acts dumb, or is he going to get the one that's like in game you see on like NFL films?
I think you're going to mix of both.
Yeah. I mean, he's one that I think is going to play it up very well.
Yeah,
it's going to be
well in this roster, given what's going on too. I think it's going to be very intriguing.
Yeah,
I might have to bite the bullet and go get HBO for this.
Mm-hmm. I may have to as well. In a game that saw the Giants forced to put Tommy DeVito in at quarterback after Tyrod Taylor goes out with injured ribs.
His uncle's Danny, from what I hear.
What you hear or what you know?
I heard that on the TikToks today.
Jim bringing the journalistic integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Offense was at a premium, especially for the Giants passing game, which only had 7 total yards passing the entire game. But somehow the Giants found themselves up 10-7 as the game was nearing an end, only for Zach Wilson and the Jets to force overtime on the last-second field goal. Jets go on to win in the extra period, 13-10. The first half of this game also had 15 total punts.
This might be the toilet bowl game of the year.
Yeah, this was garbage.
It had to have been the most boring game to watch, and I'm glad that I didn't have the ability to watch any of it.
This was doo-doo.
Yeah. I mean, I saw what came up on Red Zone, but
was there anything?
Yeah, what came up?
Not until the end. And really what they were showing was Jets fans leaving the stadium, which then was funny because they came back and won. I'm trying to look up to see if Danny DeVito and Tommy DeVito are related.
In the Bijan Mustard versus Will Levis Mayo Bowl, we have maybe finally seen the end of the Desmond Ridder experiment for the near future as Taylor Heineke finds himself in the signal caller role for the Falcons against Will Levis in his first start for the Titans. Levis throws for 4 touchdowns, which is more than he ever threw against any SEC opponent during his college career. 3 of them to DeAndre Hopkins, and the Titans win 28-23.
They're not related according to USA Today.
Oh, damn.
Sorry, man.
TikTok.
So are the Titans like looking back at themselves and kicking themselves in the butt, thinking, why didn't we start this kid sooner? Or is this
it was against the Falcons. I think we need more tests on that.
I mean, the Falcons are a formidable defensive team. DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, this was out of nowhere, right? He had been kind of falling a little bit in the stock, but that's just the offense entirely in Tennessee. So I think this was a good shot to the arm for the Titans. Put in something new. Will Levis, I think, is a totally different type of quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. And I agree with Jim, to be seen if this is a good thing or a bad thing for the Titans for the rest of the year.
Poor Malik Willis.
Will Levis was officially QB3 at the beginning of the year. The Panthers get the first win of the season via the field goal as time expires. Bryce Young throws for 235 and a touchdown, while C.J. Stroud adds a touchdown of his own on the ground.
I like how they're trying to make Bryce and CJ like rivals. That was the narrative throughout the week and the narrative at the end of the game. And again, with the tiki-talkies, they were trying to show them talking to each other and hyping this up. I don't believe that this is a rivalry between the two guys. Like, two very different situations on very different teams. Yes, they had the Bama Ohio State thing, but like, I don't think this is a rivalry.
No, I don't think it is either, especially because they're in 2 different conferences. Yeah. I mean, I get the Mahomes Burrow Josh Allen trifecta because they're all in the AFC and they're all going to be fighting each other as long as they can keep their teams competitive. But I kind of understand why they're trying to push this narrative because they're the two young guys, and that's going to be the new generation of quarterbacks if they can keep their shit together.
Yeah. If they can keep their shit together. That's always the question. I don't really believe in anything until after a couple years at this point.
Dak and CeeDee Lamb put on show as the Cowboys pick up the win 43-20. Dak tosses for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Half of his yards and touchdowns were to CeeDee Lamb in this game.
Every now and then the Cowboys make me look smart. I said on the betting show I thought the Cowboys would roll in this one. And it makes me look smart, like I know what I'm doing. But I also feel like this is luck. Like this was like their day. They're not going to do this consistently. I just feel like, well, this was their day.
That's what I said from the beginning of the year. They'll have these games and they'll have games like they did against the Cardinals where they don't show up.
Right. As far as their future outlook, I don't know. Like when it comes to the playoff time, I have no idea.
It'll come up to matchups for them.
Yeah.
Like if they can find someone that can limit CeeDee Lamb, they win the game.
Pretty much. That's been the formula for success against the Cowboys so far this season. So I don't see that changing. In the day of quarterback injuries, Kirk Cousins also bit by this bug as he finds himself on the list and goes out with a reported torn Achilles.
No way.
But not before the Vikings score 24 points and they hold on for a 24-10 win over the Packers. Jaron Hill, no idea who that is. No idea where he went to school. Replaced Cousins. The Vikings potentially in the market for some type of quarterback assistance. They're now 4-4 and at least not out of it.
I feel like a lot of people this year have hurt their Achilles, and that wasn't a thing in the past.
Right. It's like the new ACL injury.
Yeah. What is it? The turf?
I would say 100%.
Yeah. Kirk's was non-contact.
So is Kirk. So, I mean, but you think about it, you've got Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, and now you've got J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, one could point to age, right, as a variable.
That's true.
But there were old timers playing ball before these three gentlemen.
I mean, right, and then you even think in other sports like McCutcheon in baseball this year had a partially torn, then had his season early, and then you look a few years ago at Kobe.
That's true.
But I mean,
it's just an older player thing.
Brett Favre never tore his Achilles, and he was out there forever. I don't think it's an age thing.
Alex, is there any specific type of motion or flexibility thing that comes into play with Achilles?
He's not asking for sports. He's worried about he and I walking every day.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head, to be honest.
So do I need to be careful doing calves in the gym?
Right, Muff. No hard jukes for us.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to anyway, but just
maybe
I'm curious if in my day to day if there's something I should
maybe at some point stop jumping up and trying to hit the threshold of the door every time.
Okay. Right. I mean, I know in the recovery, it's all about it's not stretching it, and obviously when you tear your Achilles, it's overstretching it. That's what tears it.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Which would be actually overstretching it would be like it flexing your toes up towards your shin.
Oh shit. I do so much flexing up.
So it'd be like pressing off.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I watched the Kirk Cousins. I mean, they had a slow-mo, and I mean you could see it just like you saw with Aaron Rodgers, and just like you see with some of these other Achilles injuries, they can actually show you the moment where it happens.
Yeah.
Just because you can see but you can
like the vibration.
It's like a pop vibration almost, right?
Yes.
We take my ankles before bedtime. I'll tell you that much.
A lot of flexion happening when you are in the bedroom, Jim.
When you're doing it right, buddy.
Lord.
Congratulations, Jordan.
So are the Vikings going to be looking to make a move at quarterback?
Like what?
That's what they were talking about pregame on Football Night in America. It's like you kind of have to, because like you said a few minutes ago, like they're not out of this race in the division with Detroit by any means.
Nate, did you see this play by the Chargers?
What's that?
Did you see the play by the Chargers?
Which one?
Where the running back tosses the ball back to
flea flicker
to Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they gotta do stupid shit like that? I mean, I'm glad it worked, but are they trying to get him killed?
I don't know. Have you seen his middle finger on his left hand? How taped up it is?
Yeah, it looks like another penis.
You are all about the
sexual innuendo. Yeah, how can I say?
It's not innuendo. You're just saying it.
You're right. You're right.
There's no innuendo. You're just coming out with it.
You just say titties. That's not innuendo.
Yeah.
No, you say like.
You're right. You're right.
You know.
But look at it. It's like a dong on his hand.
I mean, it is heavily taped. Holy crap! They're zooming in on it right now.
Right.
Jim. Jim.
I'm behind, so don't me. What happened?
Are you watching it?
Hold on, watching.
Oh, sorry.
See, that's how far behind I am. Oh Lord.
The Taysom Hill show returns for New Orleans as he has 2 rushing touchdowns and throws for 44 yards, and the Saints beat the Colts 38-27. Alvin Kamara rushes for a score and catches another for the now 4-4 New Orleans Saints.
That had to be a late comeback, right? Because I thought the Colts had that in hand for most of the day. Am I wrong? Every time I
don't know if it was a late comeback. I think it was the second half.
But every time I was checking scores, this game was close.
Yeah, I mean, it was. But the Colts were winning most of the game. Like, it was close, but they were consistently in the lead. All right, whatever. Let's move on to the real thing that matters. The Eagles and Commanders.
Bum, 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 bum.
Thank you.
The Commanders have control of this one throughout the first 3 quarters, but then the Eagles plug along and find themselves up 2 scores in the fourth as A.J. Brown grabs 2 touchdowns to go along with Julio Jones. Seeing pay dirt, the Eagles win 38-31.
With a fake tush push.
That was cool.
That was real cool.
And horrifying.
Yes.
Because how do you guard against the tush push and the fake tush push?
I'm not sure you do.
Explain what the fake tush push was.
So go ahead, Alex.
So basically they got lined up like they're going to do the tush push, and Swift was off to
Taylor Swift.
Not Taylor Swift.
So I don't care.
Jalen Hurts is right. He was going to be a tush pusher. And instead he got the ball and runs out to the left and into the end zone, like basically unscathed. Because by the time everyone got off the line and realized, oh shit, we're not tush pushing, it was too late.
Right. I mean, this goes, I think, along with the comments that Sirianni and others have been having within the Eagles team and the organization of, hey, this play needs to not be banned, outlawed, or put any rules against it, because now look at what we can do off of this, right? This has opened up a lot of options for our team on these goal to go or short yardage situations.
Mm-hmm. I agree with Sirianni. Leave it be.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Like, they can do it well. Every other team can do it too. So,
the other teams can't do it as well as them.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
Yeah.
They have the opportunity to do it. You just have to do it better.
Get better.
I was listening to a New Heights podcast this week, and Travis asked Jason, he's like, what's it like to be that person, right? In the tush push, the person who pretty much the entire pile is falling on you at the end of it. And he's like, well, I'm not going to say it hurts, but he said it's definitely something you feel.
I would assume so.
Yeah. I mean, when I played high school football, I was a center, and there weren't a large number of times, but there were some times in short yard situations or right on the goal line where we would run a QB sneak. And I can tell you that you feel every bit of every person that's laying on you throughout that time.
That's an odd way to put that, Muff.
Well, I can't remember. Did they get into the point when, I think it's twice now that Kelsey's been called for lining up offsides as he goes on a 4-point on those plays, and his left hand is even with the ball.
Right.
And they're calling him in the neutral zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're calling the neutral zone, but if I remember, and Nate, this is more for you, I think the interpretation of the rule is the center also has rights to the neutral zone because the center by rule is in the neutral zone because they're touching the ball.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, whenever they showed it, I don't think it's a neutral zone thing, and they kept calling it on the left guard. And I remember the one time he said, "No, that's my left hand. I'm in a 4-point stance."
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting to see how that continues to play out and what they do with him in a 4-point stance for that play. Seattle gave itself a chance by intercepting Cleveland QB PJ Walker near midfield with 1:57 left in the game. Geno Smith threw for a 9-yard touchdown pass to Jackson Smith and Jigba with 38 seconds left, and the Seattle Seahawks rallied for a 24-20 win over the Browns after blowing an early 14-point lead.
Brown's gonna Brown. Good for Jackson Smith and Jigba. Good for Geno.
I was just gonna say, are you gonna, let's
Good
spread
for
the wealth. He had a
Geno.
good game today.
Yeah, good deal. But
How do we feel about the Seattle throwback unis?
They were pretty cool, actually, I thought.
yeah, I wasn't mad at him.
I know. I wish these teams would wear these throwbacks more than once a year. Like Tampa only wore the creamsicles like 2 weeks ago against Detroit, and that's the only time they're going to wear them this year.
It didn't go well.
Right, but still, like, why make all the hype and say, "Oh, we're bringing back these unis and we're going to wear them once out of 17 weeks"?
Well, and like the Eagles, the Kelly Green jerseys, that was a big deal.
I wish they'd wear those a couple more
Yeah,
times.
they need to go back to those.
Yeah.
Indeed. Arizona scores 17 points in the fourth quarter and recovered an onside kick to help get the Ravens lead to 7, but can't get the second onside kick, and the Ravens win 31-24. Gus Edwards runs for 3 touchdowns, and Lamar Jackson tosses one for the AFC North leading Ravens.
I think that if I'm Baltimore, I would have been hitting the panic button if they would have lost that game.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
It was never really in jeopardy at the end. They got an onside kick. Arizona did, and they went down and kicked the field goal to get within 7 with about 20-ish seconds left, and they just couldn't get the second onside kick.
Yeah, but still to be up, they would have been up by 24 as they gave up 17 in the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'm a team that's leading my division in any division, I want to see my team put that team away.
Yeah, I agree. In the first game that had snow on the field this year, the Broncos come away with the surprising win over the Chiefs, 24-9 in Denver. Russ Wilson was cooking and had 3 touchdown passes, while Patrick Mahomes struggled, tossing 2 interceptions. The Broncos had lost the previous 16 regular season games against the Chiefs.
I don't know where you go with this. Like, what does this mean?
Well, isn't Pat Mahomes like 16-0 against division rivals on the road or something like that? He was.
Sure.
Were any of those interceptions by Patrick Surtain? Because he's just been killing.
I do not know.
Is this a fluke? Is this cause for concern and chiefdom?
I mean, it's definitely part of overreaction Monday coming out. Like, this is going to be one of those things that's up on the big board for all of the pundits to chat about on Monday morning, or the Chiefs, falling off their pedestal. I think this is an outlier for the Chiefs and probably also an outlier for the Broncos.
I mean, Superman's going to have a rough day one day. Pat Mahomes threw 2 interceptions. Shit
Well, and it's one of those division games where you play this team twice a year, so they pretty much know everything you're pretty going to do. It's not like you can game plan something completely different that they haven't seen on tape from you in the past 16 games.
Right. I call it a fluke for now.
Bingo. I agree. The 49ers continue their struggles, and Brock Purdy tosses 2 interceptions in a 31-17 loss to the Bengals. Bengals are now 4-3 and back in the AFC North race after their slow start. Joe Burrow threw for 3 touchdowns, and Jamar Chase had 100 receiving yards. In the 49ers loss, Christian McCaffrey still had his 2 touchdowns and ties the NFL record by scoring a touchdown in 17 straight games.
You know how we were like, oh, if you're down by 5 points, the 49ers, they're going to lose the game. I can kind of see why. There's 2 things I saw in this game. The 49ers kind of look like they just give up if they're not beating the shit out of somebody. If they're not all gas, it's kind of like, well, on to the next one, boys.
Well, you're missing Debo Samuel, which is a good like wide receiver threat to make big plays and get back in the game too.
Sure, but their general demeanor, it's just kind of like, meh. They
Yeah,
got a vibe to them.
They don't feel like a team that can come back from behind late in games.
Yeah. Now,
like it feels like they're one of those teams that they either start off hot and they get a lead and they hold on to it, or if it's a tight game late in the game, their defense either keeps them in it or their offense is just going to find a way that's maybe going to come back and win it.
Yeah, I'm with that. And then Joey B, he looks more comfortable than I've seen him in a while in the pocket. I don't know.
He still got sacked 3 times,
but he looked comfortable in there. I think
every time I saw him, he was running around.
He can run around. That don't mean he doesn't look comfortable. Like I saw him a couple times. The pressure was on, and it didn't look like he was shitting his pants.
I think all in all, the Bengals today looked more like the Bengals when they're at their best.
Yeah. I don't know if they've got him like on anxiety meds. Like, listen, we can't change the line, but here's a script. Like, I don't know.
All right, that wraps up the games for Sunday. We're looking at live looking on Sunday night. What are we looking at, gents?
Chargers are up 7-0 with a lot of flags throughout this game. I mean, I don't know how many penalties have been in the first quarter, but woof, seems like there's more refs out there than football players at this point.
All right, and looking at Monday Night Football tonight, Raiders at the Lions. What are we feeling about in this game?
I want the Lions to win.
Yeah, I mean, I want the Lions to win, but
yeah, the Lions are in a way better position right now than the Raiders. And I even saw something this week. I think it was on Thursday. The Raiders had like a open team meeting where they basically got to have a bitch session.
Someone, who was it? Was it TJ? I think it's JJ Watt made a quote about something like when your team starts having players only meetings, your season's over.
Yep, that's what he said. Yep, I saw that. Go Lions.
Yeah, it was like they had a team meeting and they basically all got to voice their frustrations in front of Josh McDaniels and nothing was off limits.
And what does that mean? Like, I don't like your hat. Like, what does nothing's off limits mean?
I guess there was a lot of commotion saying that they weren't happy with the play calling, their usage, and this, that, and the other, the way things were going in practice or something. I don't know. I mean, I guess whenever you have all these expectations and you're not meeting any single one of them, you got to at least do something to try to turn the tides.
I guess.
I mean, to me, that's like a last-ditch effort for the Raiders to kind of save their season.
I think this was led for the most part by Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs.
I think it said him, those two, and then someone and Max Crosby were like the 3 most vocal guys.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Or kind of leaders.
Yep. All right. Any other things in the NFL world to chat about today?
Nothing I can think of right now. Tyreek Hill made a quote about his mom wouldn't talk to him yesterday, so that's why he was trying to get attention about like whether he's gonna play or not or something. He's like, yeah, my mom wasn't talking to me, so I had to get attention somehow. I was like, real life.
Yep, it is, and that's why they're going to be Hard Knocks.
Yep.
All right, that brings us into the
college football breakdown. All right, so the Big Ten, Nebraska beats Purdue 31-14. Nebraska's now 5-3 and 3-2 in the Big Ten, part of the 3-2 logjam atop the West of the Big Ten between Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin. It's the West. I think Minnesota has the tiebreaker there, yeah?
I have no idea. It's usually too early for me to start looking at tiebreakers.
I mean, they beat Iowa.
Right, I'd expect you to understand these tiebreakers, Jim.
Yeah, I don't, as we've already proven. Minnesota beats Michigan State 27-12. Neither one of these teams are worth a shit.
No, I would just hate to be a Michigan State player right now, given everything that's going on, and now you just start losing and losing.
Yeah. But one can't pass and one can't run. Minnesota can't really throw the ball. And Michigan can't really run the ball. So it's kind of a lame game. But anyway, Northwestern beats Maryland 33-27. Is this a hey, good job, Northwestern, or is this a Maryland? What the hell happened to you?
Maryland, what the hell happened to you?
Yeah. Maryland seems wildly wishy-washy.
Very. And I think it all happened after the Ohio State game? They all started falling to shit.
Well, I mean, yeah, they were undefeated going into that game.
Yeah.
Then they lose to, was it Penn State next?
No, they haven't played Penn State.
Who'd they lose to? Maybe Michigan. They lost somebody that was like.
Was it Indiana?
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, they just fell off. I feel bad. I like that coach from Maryland, too. Anyway, Penn State 33, Indiana 24. Muff, what say you about this game?
This is the first game where the defense did not bring their A game, and it showed. They gave up big plays. I think they had definitely two that I saw. I didn't get a chance to watch this entire game, but two long touchdowns that they typically would not be giving up or have not given up in the previous games. And the offense actually had to work at the end of the game to put themselves in position. So I think this could be a building moment for the offense and Drew Aller, that they could get the points when they needed to. They didn't just have to grind out and, play the field position game and take advantage of it. The offense had to generate points at the end of a game. And I think that's good for them. For the defense, I'm not sure. Again, two long touchdown plays. So, I mean, those can be like a person busted coverage. I think that's what it was in the two that I saw. So I don't put too much overall stock in this, given the totality of what their defense has done throughout the year. But it does give slight cause for concern about not being able to not be able to be more dominant against one of the lesser teams in the conference.
The majority of your passes and the third quarter, maybe going into the fourth, were to tight ends. They had the most receiving yards at that point.
I mean, it's not abnormal right now.
I'm just stating facts. Nobody's saying it's not abnormal. Calm down.
Well, then what are you using this for then? You brought it up because...
You didn't even let me finish a sentence. First off, my question for you is this more of an emphasis now than to start recruiting receivers? Like, we need to get on the train? Or is this going to be the philosophy moving forward for Penn State of we're going to be tight end you? Like, where do you see it going?
Well, I'm not going to say they've been tight end you. They have had strong tight ends for the past 4 to 5 years, even past that, if you look at like Mike Gesicki and all of that. So, I mean, this is nothing new. It's just they don't have, and I've said this before, they don't have a wide receiver right now that's taking the top off the defense. They don't have that Jahan Dotson. They don't have that receiver that they've had in the past. I've said, you put Drew Aller with the receivers of 2 to 3 years ago, this was an entirely different team. They just don't have that this year. They brought in Cephas, a transfer. I forget where he came in from, and he was supposed to be part of that. Has not panned out the way they wanted it to. So, I mean, yes, I would assume they're on the recruiting trail, highlighting or maybe targeting some people in the transfer portal for next year to help with that wide receiver talent. Keandre Lambert-Smith's a serviceable number one, but he's not a game-breaking number one.
Okay, fair enough. Always with the defense, Muff. Always trying to see I'm coming after you. Wasn't even coming after you. Anyway, Ohio State beats Wisconsin 24-10. With the return of Henderson at running back, who went off, and Maserati Mars had a great night. And Kyle McCord looked like doo-doo. But they won.
Do we want him out? Do we still want him out?
There's people that want him out.
So the sky's falling again?
No, I don't think the sky's falling. I think they feel still pretty good from the Penn State win. They were also very distracted by other things going on in the Big Ten. So there's not a lot of hatred yet. Plus, our backup is hurt. So who are we going to replace him with? It's a thing. So, but good win. We'll take it.
I mean, you could still have like Quinn Ewers there.
No, we can't. Muff, he took his money and ran.
I know, but I'm saying, like, why didn't you hold on to him if everybody thought the sky was going to be falling? That's just a legitimate question.
He was going back to Texas regardless. That was a given.
Okay.
I think the bigger issue is why did we not recruit more? Like, that didn't seem to be the focus. I think is the bigger amplifying thing for those rebel rousing fans. All right, on to the top 10. Georgia, without tight end Brock Bowers, goes down 7-0 early to Florida, only to score the next 36 unanswered points to win 43-20. Georgia mollywopped Florida. Wasn't even a game. It was ridiculous.
True. Florida just looked like they couldn't do anything on offense. I mean, they just
not a thing.
Helpless.
This is the Georgia we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Yes. Number 4, Florida State, with a big first half, yet outscored in the second half, takes care of business on the road at Wake Forest, winning 41-16.
I didn't pay attention. Did they keep all their starters in for the second half?
Well, I don't know.
That's what I mean.
I think that they're going to obviously win out. I don't think anybody is going to threaten them, right? Who do they have left?
They have to play Virginia?
Yeah, maybe.
They have to play Pitt.
Ooh.
I don't think Pitt's.
It got mollywopped.
Yeah, I don't think Pitt's in a position right now.
Yeah, no.
Holy shit. Did they even show up to the stadium to play Notre Dame this weekend?
And then the other question is, like, who do they play in the championship?
That is the question.
At this point, probably Louisville.
That could be a game. But, like, just a game. Like, I still think they could win that one. Anyway, number 5, Washington squeaks out another close victory behind 4 touchdowns from Heisman hopeful, not a chance, Michael Penix Jr.
Not a chance.
No way. Defeating Stanford.
So you're giving the Heisman to JJ McCarthy right now. Then
who do you think wins it then?
I don't think he's a Heisman candidate. I don't think he's a
Heisman. He's 2.
He's
Heisman winner. You didn't let me finish. Heisman winner.
So JJ McCarthy wins it.
60%. Like if you look at most polls, he's like 60% favored.
Sorry, boys.
Him and JJ McCarthy, and then the rest of college football.
Yeah.
That's it.
And JJ McCarthy, I don't think deserves it as much as Michael Penix. I think every single college sports show or person I've listened to has put Michael Penix at the top of the list.
Why not put Marv out there?
Because I don't think his season's as good as Michael Penix. I don't think that he has had.
Is he the best athlete out there?
It's not the best athlete.
Nothing to do with anything.
If Marvin Harrison didn't
Bowers' name would have been in there.
Whatever game that was and miss half the game or go away for like a game and a half, then yeah, I can see it in there. But the fact that he doesn't have a complete season is his case.
So if Penix loses, are we done talking about him as a candidate?
It depends how he loses.
Yeah, not as a candidate. He would have to lose and someone else has a great game. You know, McCarthy keeps winning big and Penix loses.
Bo Nix beats him in the Pac-12 championship.
Really, but unfortunately, Bo Nix really isn't even getting talked about as much.
Bo Nix can bring himself back in the conversation with that win, but I think Penix has to have like a one touchdown, 4 or 5 interception game to be out of this. If they continue just to put up good stats, he's never going to be out of this conversation.
I just don't think he's it, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
as far as Marvin Harrison Jr., I mean, he should be in the conversation, but at this point, I think we all know this is a quarterback-driven award. Whether that's right or wrong, that's the way it is. And to what you said as well, unfortunately, the Ohio State quarterback is not one that is helping Marvin Harrison's case at this point.
Exactly. I agree with that, but I don't think Penix Jr. is the guy who should win.
I feel like you're just saying that because you want Marvin Harrison to win.
I throw him out then. I take Marv out of it. I still don't think.
Well, then who wins it?
Here's the guy
right now.
I like Bo Nix. I'm a big fan if you stack the two together. I like Bo Nix.
Okay, that's a more reasonable answer than Marvin Harrison.
I didn't say. I said, what about him? That's
I said it's a more reasonable answer.
And JJ McCarthy's not even in your conversation.
He's a cheater. We'll move on.
He is cheating?
He's a part of a cheating operation.
He's guilty by association.
Yep.
Okay.
It's real easy when you know what's coming up against you, right? Anyway, number 6, Oklahoma.
Wait. He knows? I thought this was all about the offensive play calling that all this came down to.
Do you think signals are only throwing signals out there for the offense?
Nothing you've shared with us in your deep dive into Jack Mac football and anybody else has said anything about defensive calls yet. That's all I'm saying.
They are stealing calls, is what I've shared. They're stealing calls. They're cheating bastards.
Allegedly.
Okay. Moving on. Number 6, Oklahoma gives the go-ahead score with under a minute to go and is upset by Kansas, 38-33. The goalpost is in the Potter Lake now.
I love it. I love it.
Do you? Because I think that knocks out.
Now that it's happened, I love it. I made it. I was very honest that I was very torn between what I wanted to happen, but now that it's happened, I might as well just enjoy it.
Here's my issue with your stance on that. And I left you alone this weekend because I thought I'm going to let the man enjoy football.
Mm-hmm.
This only makes it harder for the Big 12 to get in, though.
No, I know. That's why I said I was torn between wanting. I wanted to see Kansas upset them for the fun of seeing Kansas upset them. I didn't want to see that because I didn't want Oklahoma to lose. Because that was our chance.
This is probably their best chance.
Well, yeah, that unless Texas comes out and smacks them in the Big 12 championship. I think you can make the argument for Texas.
We'll talk about that later.
Here's my question with this, though. How easy is it to get a new goalpost?
Apparently pretty easy. Tennessee does it like pretty frequently.
I just love you had to see all of if you watched the celebration, all of the kids like piling on the goalpost. Like it was not bending for a while. Like it was like slightly bent, and like more students would jump up on it and they're like climbing up it and finally like slowly like and everyone like goes crazy. But it took forever for them to get it down.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised. I thought someone was gonna come out and stop them. But they were just like, you know what? Let them do it.
Yeah, you can't once the tide is rolling, you can't stop the tide.
No.
Number 7, Texas rolls at home over BYU without Quinn Ewers, 35-6. No Arch Manning yet. Will we see him this season? No. They're going to put a nice big old red shirt on that boy and send him on his way.
Yeah, if they weren't planning to redshirt him, he would have played this weekend, is my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's just going to dress in case something happens to the guy that's playing now. But yeah, I'm with Jim. They're going to give him a nice fat red shirt and say, we'll see you in a couple of years, Archie.
Mm-hmm.
So what does this QB room look like next year for Texas? I don't know if they can hold on to all three of them.
I think they've already said there's rumblings going around that the guy that started this week's going to go.
Sweet. Come to Ohio State, baby. Let's go. We got lots of donors here. All right. Number 8, Oregon keeps up the pressure on those ranked above them by defeating Utah 13. Number 13 Utah 35-6.
They controlled that game from the get-go.
Oh my God. I love that coach.
Yeah.
I love Oregon's coach.
Dan Lanning.
Yeah, I just think he's amazing. Like if God forbid, knock on wood, Ryan Day decides to retire, give me that guy.
I have found an appreciation for Utah's pig farmer quarterback because I watched a lot from the college game day stuff on him.
Yeah.
His family's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of cool, Jim, what do you think of the Utah helmets since they had nothing else going for them the whole game?
Sure.
I thought those were cool helmets. I was very impressed with the helmets. What is this soaking thing? I missed out on all this.
Soaking?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Do you know what soaking is, Jim? First off,
I am unfamiliar.
Jim, this is very sexual.
This just got explicit.
Got it.
Just don't do any motion.
Oh, that's what I thought it was.
Soak it. Do you know what earthquaking is?
This rating for this episode is when.
So earthquaking is when you're, and they mentioned this too. Earthquaking is when you're on like a bed or like a top bunk of a bunk bed in a dorm, and you're soaking, and your bunkmate shakes the bed from below, so you're not moving, but your friend's helping you out.
Got it. All right.
This a new low?
This show has gotten out of hand. And I
Titties!
started it.
Yeah, you started it.
I started it with
Quite
that.
literally.
Yeah, wild show. Not letting the kids listen to this one. All right, number 18, number 19, Air Force beats Colorado State 30-13 to improve to 8-0 for the first time since 1985. Even the Colorado State, what is this? Oh yeah, Colorado State was throwing paintballs, snowballs from the stands, and got a 15-yard penalty in the process. When I saw they were throwing snowballs at Air Force, my only thought was the three of you going, "They're un-American."
They are. That is kind of un-American.
I mean, it sort of is.
Can't take that away.
I mean, that's not the team I think I would want to be pissing off.
Yeah.
I mean, of the armed forces, they're probably the one I would piss off. What are they gonna do? Get in their fighter jets? They got nothing they can do.
Remember, Jim, that's a lot of the intelligence that comes out of the Air Force.
That's true. They could drone them.
I would rather be able to lock my front door and hope no one comes in. I feel like them drones can do weird shit.
Yeah. But it's not like you piss off, throw some snowballs at Army. Let's see you do that a couple times.
I feel like we just shouldn't throw snowballs at the military.
You probably shouldn't just throw them anybody
Well,
on the field.
Yeah. Number 23, James Madison stays unbeaten, beating Old Dominion 30-27. Hashtag free JMU. And yeah, that happened. I'm not reading the rest of that garbage.
Why? This like plays into your narrative. Michigan's not eligible for anything. JMU plays Michigan in some type of offshoot bowl, and they say it's for a national championship.
Yeah, no, they don't. No, JMU deserves better. They've probably already scouted JMU with 7-8 spies in their stadium,
or the one.
They at least send 2, 1 for each sideline. Alex,
That's only if you need the signs from both sides.
They
don't care about JMU. They don't care about who JMU's playing.
Well, you never know. All right, WU rebounds from a home loss to avoid. What the?
That does.
WU beat UCF
to get a road.
Alex, you go ahead. Go ahead, Alex.
It's the 2017 self-proclaimed national champions, UCF, 41-28. WVU is now 1 win away from bowl eligibility. Does that mean Neil Brown's job is getting safer? Yes.
Does that make you any?
Yes-ish.
Do you feel any better, Alex?
So I saw a really good point this weekend that I really hadn't super took into consideration, but it talked about how it's not so much Neil Brown, it's the college that Neil Brown's coaching at. If you take Neil Brown back to a Troy or a smaller school, he does better. He's not good at coaching and rallying a team at a large school in these environments.
You realize that's ridiculous, right?
Put Neil Brown at West Liberty, he'd do great.
He went from major D1 program to D2 program.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to meet him where he's at and give him some positives. I'm sure that in Division II, Neil Brown would be a great coach. Neil Brown doesn't have the cojones to coach in the big leagues.
Okay. I'm going to let you live. Let's move on.
Okay.
To the AP. I'm not going to attack you. But if I let you keep going, I'm going to attack you. So we should just stop. Stay friends.
I don't care about Neil Brown. Just let me do me.
Why are you making excuses for a guy that you should get rid of?
Oh, I agree. I just said he doesn't belong at West Virginia.
You're a typical West. God bless his heart.
Yeah,
he'd be great somewhere else.
Yeah.
Stop
he was good other places.
He's trash.
He was good at Troy.
Okay.
He's trash?
It's like the Nick Saban experiment when he was at the Dolphins. He's a great college coach, not an NFL coach. I think what Alex is trying to say is Neil Brown's a good small college coach. He's not a good big college coach.
All right.
They're about to be bowl eligible. I don't know if we can call him straight trash.
Okay.
I'll still probably call him straight trash.
And they outperformed their last place preseason projection.
I know. Isn't there a $5 bet that they end up in the top 10 of the Big 12?
It's somewhere. You can go back in the records and find it, but there was some bet, yes.
Yes. All right, AP top 10 is out. It has Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State in the top 4, and then Washington, Oregon, then Texas, Bama, Penn State, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, and LSU.
This week we get our first release of the standings from the bowl championship,
which means hopefully this AP thing just is meaningless.
I mean, it still means something because it's incorporated into that, but
it's ridiculous.
What is ridiculous?
I mean, it makes more sense now. You're right. I take that back. But Washington and Oregon will play each other. That'll take care of that. Texas will bump up. Probably Bama will jump them somehow. It'll be stupid. I don't like this. How does Michigan get number 2? Can we just talk about that? Put the cheating gate aside. Who is Michigan beat?
I think it's just based off of last year. They were in the top 4.
Don't think you
lost since. Most of their teams back. They haven't really had a close game. They're winning games they're supposed to be winning. So, I mean, it's kind of like how we said with Georgia before. It's like they were winning ugly, but it's like you keep them up there until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a similar, in my mind, it's a similar as the Georgia thing. Michigan has done nothing on the field in their games to make them not be ranked high, right? They're winning convincingly. They're doing what they're supposed to do. And the games will come where either they're going to stay there or they're going to drop, right? They've got the upcoming games against Penn State and Ohio State. That's either going to prove that they belong there or they're going to fall out.
But to me, and I would say this if Ohio State was 1 or 2, trust me, okay? But if you preseason rank a team based on what they did the year before, and they play like dog shit, they should drop, right?
You have to lose, I think.
But if they don't meet up to expectations,
I don't think Michigan's played like dog shit though.
I have not said that. I'm stating a premise. If they play like dog shit, they should drop.
I feel like I had this conversation with Muff last year, and I was talking about this, and he was pointing out the fact that you can't drop somebody for no reason as long as they're winning.
That to me, I
agree with you, Jim. I think there's such thing as like a level of a win. I think there's the eye test. I think there's a lot of different things that should allow for not necessarily you to drop, but for someone else to surpass you. That being said, in this situation, I don't think that's happened yet.
But if you stay at 1 and 2 and you've blown teams out, but you've played nobody, do you still earn the right to stay there?
I mean, at least you've blown out the teams you're supposed to blow out.
Okay.
I think you still earn that spot unless you have 2 or 3 games where you are stuck in a close game, a field goal game, or you score a late touchdown against lesser opponents consistently. And then I think the AP voters would then express less confidence, which means that a team could surpass them.
Then let me ask you this question, and I'll be done with the polls. Texas doesn't lose to Oklahoma. Let's say they're undefeated right now. Okay. And they had beaten Alabama.
They did, correct.
Okay. Where do you rank them right now?
About where they are.
No, you can't, Muff, because they're undefeated at that point.
Oh, they're undefeated.
And they've beaten Alabama.
They've beaten Alabama and Oklahoma.
Yep.
And Oklahoma still lost like they just did?
Yes.
They're probably at least 4. They may be at 3 or 2.
Okay.
Right? They definitely kick Florida State out of this conversation for the time being.
And I dare say they knock Ohio State down.
Right, that's what I said. Michigan. At the very least, they're at 4, but they may go as high as 3 or 2.
And if that's where you're at, I agree, and let's move on. Cool. Big games of note. Number 3, Ohio State versus Rutgers.
Oh, you ready, Jim?
Penn State's rival. They're going to bring it. Undefeated? Are they undefeated?
No, they're not undefeated.
Okay. Well, Kansas State against Texas. Missouri against Georgia.
Ooh, Alex. Alex is a Missouri backer.
I am a Missouri backer. I think this is Georgia's, like, not first, but kind of first big challenge. I don't think Missouri's to be taken lightly.
Florida State at Pitt.
That's a trouncing.
Penn State at Maryland. Also probably a trouncing. The Battle at Bedlam, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Washington at USC.
Ugh.
No.
USC. Ugh.
Yeah.
Let's get ready for points in this game.
Right.
And Washington has a I'm not gonna say a great defense, but Washington at least has a defense. So This is another one of those, what can Caleb Williams do when he's playing against a team that actually tries?
And then LSU and Alabama.
That could have a lot of say in what the end of SEC postseason looks like.
Yeah, that game could be good.
Yep. In other college football news, Coach Prime calls out his offensive line. The big picture, you got to go get new linemen. That's the picture. I'm going to paint it perfectly. We know, Prime. We know. Your kid also shouldn't probably target a guy.
Well, I mean,
Nate, was that targeting?
From what I saw in the one replay, I'm going to say no.
That looked like he was defenseless, Nate.
I saw a replay where he was
defenseless. The difference between a defenseless receiver and targeting. Was he defenseless? Sure. Was it targeting? I don't believe so.
See, I thought.
But is the call one and the same?
No. You can have a hit on a defenseless receiver and not be targeting.
In college football.
I don't know about college. I'm not a college official. I'm a high school, but you can have the difference. And that's another thing that I love about the high school rule versus the college rule is in college, if you have targeting, you're gone. In high school, you can have targeting and stay in the game.
Okay.
I definitely think it was.
I don't think it was malicious, right?
No,
I don't know. His celebration after is what makes me think it was malicious.
You have an issue with the Prime family. We get it.
Yeah.
Just as long as you call attention to the fact that is true, Alex. That's all I think Jim wants to get out.
Oh, I don't think I've hit it, but I do think what he did was, and I think he intentionally lit that guy up, knowing he was defenseless.
Okay. Maryland co-offensive coordinator and former Texas A&M coach Kevin Sullivan was arrested for DUI. I did not know this.
Let's not.
Okay.
I
feel
feel
like
like
you're letting me read this shit. You should do it. I'm not good at this.
Well, because you want to do the college stuff, so you can do the college stuff.
Kevin got a DUI. All right. Bahamas Bowl is played in Charlotte due to unexpected late stadium renovations in the Bahamas.
Charlotte?
That's what I just said.
I know. That's just
I found that I can't remember who posted it, but they said somehow or whatever's going on in the Bahamas now, they're doing stadium renovations. So the Bahamas Bowl is being moved to Charlotte.
What kind of rate of renovations are happening?
I have no idea. But
are they on the Vanderbilt schedule?
I don't know. But if Vanderbilt can play, I don't know why they can't go down there and
play. Can we at least acknowledge that this is always Nate finding this stuff? It's amazing. Like, this is great. And then in the Michigan sign stealing update, I don't know what we need to update. They stole signs.
Are we going to talk about?
You can talk about any of the things that you have found, and
you mean like signs because it is an election coming up, Jim. So are they stealing like yard signs or?
Yeah,
they're stealing the signs that are being called by other teams on the sidelines.
They are. Okay. Are you going to bring attention to the fact that Dave Portnoy mentions that
we're not talking about him?
Oh no, we're talking about things that have happened, Jim.
Things that have happened. Dave Portnoy pointed out that is it Ryan Day's brother,
yep. Christopher Day.
Brother is the head litigator for the company that they're using to investigate the situation.
That's absolutely not true. That is bullshit fake. First of all, Ryan Day.
So is Michigan stealing signs. I think this is also BS fake. Fake news. Fake news.
First of all right, we're gonna get into it, Muff, because you're an asshole.
I just want to know your take on the situation.
What had happened was we're gonna go back.
Okay.
A member of the coaching staff who gets paid $55,000 a year, who's an analyst for Michigan, has a network of people who he publicly paid via Venmo to go to other games of future opposing teams of Michigan and record in the stands the signals of those teams.
Okay.
And the evidence is found in his Venmo.
That they were recording?
Yes. Well, no, that he was paying them. Okay.
Got it.
There's also another investigation happening at Michigan. Okay.
Yes.
Of a former coordinator for computer hacking.
Yes.
Okay.
These are two separate.
Two separate investigations before anybody tries to mash them together. Okay. Portnoy is trying to link, and all of the Michigan fan base is trying to say.
Oh, first off, I want to say the person who I saw this first was Jack Mack, who you had been pointing to us as somebody of credence in all of the information you just shared. So let's not say that this is Dave Portnoy. Dave Portnoy is highlighting something that one of his staffers brought up, just like you brought up to us about everything else you just said. Jack Mack put this out into the world, just like he put all the things that you just said out in the world. So if we're going to use those to help support our cause, I'm just making sure that we're not saying this is just Dave Portnoy.
You didn't let me finish.
Same person.
You didn't let me finish. Let me finish.
Let me finish.
When I finish, then you can jump my shit. Let me finish. Okay. Portnoy and the rest of the Michigan fan base initially started to say, well, it must be Ryan Day who cried foul. He must have told on us. There has been footage of Greg Schiano saying something was up. There has been other conspiracies that they did this they gave footage to South Carolina when South Carolina beat Tennessee. There has been multiple teams affected by this. But in the beginning,
alleged behavior, got it.
Sure. In the beginning, Michigan fans and Portnoy pointed to Ohio State and said they're being crybabies. Okay. Then it's revealed that a third-party law firm with a private investigator are the ones who told the NCAA.
Okay.
Okay. Then through some deep diving reporting, it's revealed that Ryan Day's brother is a private investigator.
With this company.
We don't know that company is the company that did the ratting. Nobody has come out and confirmed that is the company.
So it's alleged.
All this is alleged at this point. I mean,
we just know that a private firm has Ryan Day's brother on the payroll.
And it's alleged the point of that is it's the alleged that is the firm.
Who did the alleged
to attention?
The same people, not the same people. I mean, there's also the allegations against them sign stealing. I mean, those are allegations at this point all the same.
Yes.
Fine. Well, you know what? I'll even concede that. The fact of the matter is you can say he told on us for doing something wrong that we were doing.
Oh, I mean, anybody can say it. I'm not saying that this is going to become an issue for the Ohio State side. It's interesting information that probably does not have a direct link anywhere, but it's still interesting, and it's part of the sensationalization and the dramatization of this story.
There's also allegations out there that there's proof that other teams have done the same thing, but those have never materialized. The fact of the matter is the NCAA is investigating, and the Big Ten is investigating Michigan for that. And the assistant coach, analyst, is suspended pending this investigation. And his network of colleagues, alleged spies, were paid via Venmo, and it's publicly revealed.
So here's my question. Does it lead you anywhere to doubt maybe that's really what all that Venmo is for? Because why would he leave it right out in the open?
Because he's an idiot.
Okay. I'm just saying he could be like, no, obviously all of this is false because I would have hit it if I was doing something bad. That's just a point. I haven't seen that anywhere. No,
he's an idiot.
Okay.
He has a 600-page manifesto about how to become Michigan.
He has it. Where and this is a legitimate question. I have seen him. All I ever saw on that legitimately, and there may be more.
Google Drive
is that he said, "I have this," but I have not heard anybody say we have seen this.
It has been reported to have been seen, allegedly been seen by news outlets.
Okay, I'd never heard that part. That's why I was curious. I just heard what I saw. I was like, "Oh, I have this, right?" So I could come out and say, "Oh, I have this, something like this too." I don't, but just because I say I have it doesn't mean it's true. In that
the case. Other part of this is Zach Smith. Zach Smith from Ohio State infamy is also putting shit out there for Dave Portnoy to bite on. Like he's purposely trolling and waiting for Michigan fan base, i.e. Portnoy, to bite on and get all his panties in a bunch. And it's just trolling the shit out of them. So this hatred between the two teams, very much smoke and mirrors. The facts are some bitches may have cheated.
For how many years?
Well, right now it's 2.
This season and last season?
When they forfeited the COVID year, all of a sudden they got better the next year.
You would have to show me proof that they did it for more than 1 year, though. You can't just assume that because they got better, they were cheating. Now, if you say, yeah, here, we found video evidence, we found videotape from these, okay, there's no denying that.
I mean, if you want me to, I can, but it's not I'll wait for the investigation to play itself out.
Will you?
Well, that's
yet you'll share all these other opinions, but we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait for that piece. Wait till the investigation.
To say how long they've been doing it, I don't know. I just know they did it.
How do you don't know that they did it yet?
They did it. They're cheating masters.
I will not confirm nor deny until I see a video file of illegal things.
If it was your team,
I'm purely just doing this to piss you all off.
Yeah,
right. Here's what's most interesting to me is that I am not hearing, and I'm not saying it's not out there, I am not hearing the just outrage from all of the other major college programs on this.
You're not hearing outrage from Ohio State either. Like you're hearing it from the fan base. From the fan base.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is to be expected. It's the hatred between the two schools.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But the coaches are just like, okay, we're not going to say anything because then you're going to start looking at us and we may be doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
We just haven't got caught yet. Right. I mean, that's what we've said this from the beginning.
And if you've never heard Ryan Day necessarily speak on it.
No, I don't think any coach that's smart is ever going to say a word about this.
In fact, the only real quote that you get about, hey, there's something fishy going on comes from Greg Schiano, who is notoriously
just a wild card. Yeah, he spouts off at everything.
But the fan base, and Portnoy, to his credit, is stirring it up for clicks.
Oh yeah, he's good at his job. Let's not get that twisted.
There's a reason that.
But fuck that guy.
All right. Well, from all of this, just so we know, all I got is that Jim hates the United States and Jim hates ex-military because he's said all these bad things about Connor Stallions, who's an ex-military member. Jim hates.
Yeah,
America.
I think that guy has something wrong with him based on the manifesto, to be honest. And I hope he gets help.
And if all this is true, yes, there may be.
And I hope he gets help for the issues that he has.
I right. This is one of those reports that I would say is probably defunct and probably not true. All said and done, where right there was a discussion of I was helping to buy these seats for other people in the military and other ex-military members because I support the troops. And I was just like, oh, if we're going to go this deep into this potential lie, then we should probably stop there right now.
Yeah.
Because if you get caught in that one, there's no coming back.
No. It's not going to be great.
No. All right. On to other interesting news in sports. Other interesting news in sports. First in the NHL, the Ottawa Senators' Shane Pinto is suspended for 41 games, equivalent to half the season, for gambling.
It's finally hit the NHL.
They have finally done it. The league said that the ban was for activities related to sports wagering, and that its investigation found no evidence that Pinto bet on NHL games.
So why did we suspend him
For this long? Yeah, I don't get it.
Something's got to come out. Or
Yeah,
the NHL is the best at not saying anything.
That's ridiculous. He didn't bet on NHL games. Piss off.
Right. Well, yeah, it's similar, right? That in the NFL, you can be suspended for not necessarily betting on the NFL. There's the other things like where you're betting, team facilities, and all of that. So I don't know what the NHL's rules are, but I've got to imagine they have some similarities to other major sports.
Stupid.
But it's got to be something serious if you're going to suspend a dude half a year.
Half a year, right?
Yeah. So maybe he has other inside information in other sports that he's using. I don't know.
I don't care. Like, I don't care if he has a direct line to Kelsey or he knows what Taylor Swift's coming in. Like, he's not betting on the NHL games. I'm letting him play. That's stupid.
Yeah. In the fight game, Tyson Fury faced Francis Ngannou, and Fury wins a split decision in a controversial fight.
In other news, the Saudis rigged the fight for Fury, and Ngannou should have won that fight. I mean, it just proves boxing is so corrupt, and don't trust the Saudis.
What
maybe betting on boxing?
Yeah, that could have been it.
What was Ngannou's departure from UFC? Was that over any testing?
No, I think it was he wanted to chase that bag and Dana wouldn't back him.
Okay. I didn't remember if it was part of the any type of substance issues, not substance abuse issues, but using banned substances.
I don't think so.
Okay. Because that man is large.
He also kicked Tyson Fury's ass.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury, I saw an interview, like again on the TikTok where I get all my news. Tyson Fury's eye is like black and blue.
Yeah, it is.
And he's like, he only got me on the back of the head, mate. I was fine. It didn't get me anywhere else. Brother, your face is black and blue, but you're going to say on the back of your head's the only spot he got you? No.
Well, the knockdown was a hit more to the back of the head than to the face. I mean, I will say that, but
he's saying he only got tagged once behind the head.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he hits hard, but he only got me once behind the back of the head.
Yeah, he must have got hit so hard he doesn't remember.
Right. It's just bullshit. Boxing is rigged, worse than anything I've ever seen.
John Jones is out of UFC 295 after he tears his pec off the bone in a training session that will require surgery and keep him out for 8 months.
That makes me cringe.
Mr. Dana White. That's a cringe.
Yeah, I saw the video on this, and you can't really tell that it was that bad.
A pec tear, you can't tell all the time, right, Alex? It's just you can tell the person, but it's not like you see it.
Well, yeah, you just lose. I mean, think of all of the things you do with your pec. Like literally, if you hurt your pec, go try to like do anything.
I don't want to hurt my pec.
Exactly.
So I'm not signing up for that.
Exactly. It's just, yeah, it's not. It's probably. I would say it's probably not as apparent as like snapping your Achilles or getting the big bunch up from your bicep or something, but it would be an uncomfortable recovery.
And then it turns like purple.
Yeah, it's a big, big muscle. So you're going to get a big bruise. Yes.
Like from wrestling, if you look up, this is what's nuts. Look up Cody Rhodes pec tear. He actually wrestles a match before getting it surgically repaired. Like he tears it in the gym before a big match, Hell in the Cell against Seth Rollins. And then like he's like, I'm still gonna wrestle it. I'll get it fixed after. I'll fake it through the match. And everybody's like, no. He's like, I'm gonna do it. He comes out and he takes his ring jacket off, and like 50,000 in the crowd just go, oh, because it's so ugly. And then the realization of like, how are you gonna function is the grossest thing ever. Like, and it's still like, how did he get through that match? He was just one arm in it the whole time.
Oh, you have to be. There's nothing like Alex. There's nothing you can do.
Like, I know it's pro wrestling and I get it. Like, but go look it up. It's the grossest thing ever. Do it.
In the NBA, Victor Wembanyama makes his debut for the Spurs and has shown, as he did in the preseason, that he's worthy of the hype and he's an absolute freak of a human.
Didn't he have the exact same stats as Tim Duncan? Yeah, if you look at it, he had like the exact same stats as Tim Duncan's first game with the Spurs.
I hope that he does not have some type of like freak injury early in his career that limits.
Knock on wood, Muff. Don't even put that in the ether.
He needs to do the Giannis and put some weight on.
They talked about it. I was watching some of that. And
it's tough to put weight on a 7'4" frame. I would expect. In other news,
like genetic anomaly.
Oh yeah, in every way,
like a connective tissue disease that his aorta is going to rupture.
Yeah. I've even read different reports that because his family and his team around him knew that like he needed to strengthen certain parts of his body, like his tendons and like all that stuff, that he's been doing specific exercises from a young age so that he's less likely to suffer the common injuries that somebody that is that tall would have.
They grew him in a lab, is what you're saying.
No, I don't know if they grew him in a lab. They have maybe refined him in a lab. That I can't say may be true. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how this first year plays out in the long season. So TBD. In other news, LeBron is going to be limited to 28 to 30 minutes a game this season.
That was news.
Oh yeah, that was big news.
I think they just told us that so the tickets are like the expectations lower.
Well, I will say I think that this is, I mean, I expect most of what LeBron has go out into the world is very planned and purposeful. With all of the rules in place now for the NBA about not sitting stars, right? This is the other side of that. LeBron is going to be limited, which he probably should be at this point in his career with his age. So we're going to limit him. So people are going to get mad because he's being limited, but at least he's probably not going to be sitting out games like he used to. So I feel like this should be a positive thing, but people still going to be pissed about it.
Nate, they're showing the dildo finger again.
I know. I see the dildo finger. Sam, what do you think about the dildo finger?
I don't see anything.
You don't see?
Oh.
Right?
Could they have not made it so bulky?
Some
people
people
grab his fingers. His fingers broke.
Damn.
Okay, but I feel like it could be less obvious. Alex?
I don't know.
Nobody's hitting that joke out of the park. Come on.
I don't know. I think they could have at least made him wear a glove on his non-throwing hand.
No glove, no love.
It's like they're asking for people to make a comment. Like they want someone to be like, damn, look at that guy's middle finger.
Don't worry, Jim's that guy.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
All right, Nate. Talk about baseball, buddy.
That's what I have to do to get through it too.
So World Series, Jim, which means we're coming to the end.
Thank God.
Series is currently tied at 1 game apiece, with Game 3 being tonight on Monday, back in the desert. And one thing I did notice at the end of Game 2, when the Diamondbacks were up, I think it was 9-1 at that point, their outfielder Tommy Pham could have become the first player in Major League history to go 5 for 5 in any World Series game. However, he asked his bench coach, skipper, whatever you want to call him, to let the bench guy hit for him, Jace Peterson, so he can get his first World Series at bat.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I was going to ask you how you felt about this.
Because, is this to prevent, some voodoo, you think? I don't want to do this because I might jinx myself? Or is this, genuine? This kid needs a shot at bat?
I mean, there's really nothing to jinx yourself about. The worst
no,
case.
I think in the moment you don't even realize that, oh, no one else has gone 5 for 5 in the World Series.
I don't believe that, Nate. I think these baseball guys, somebody's telling somebody, hey, you're about to go 5 for 5?
I mean, at the same time, I like it for Tommy Pham because then again, you never know. You want that guy to get that experience. And you never know. He might never get there again. So at least he can finally have that moment and say, hey, I got in a bat in the World Series.
That's true.
Or let's say Tommy Pham gets hit by a pitch and gets taken out in the next game. Now this guy's not going to shit his pants when he comes up to bat for the first time.
Also true. I agree with that. I think if it was me and I knew I was going to go 5 for 5 in the World Series, I might look at the bench coach too and be like, let the kid bat. I don't want to mess this up, and then I'll be in my own headspace. I can say I went 4 for 4 and I did a kind gesture. I'm okay. Like it brings me good karma for the next game. It's a voodoo thing for me.
Yeah, okay. And lastly, I believe Muff may have been the one that found this. So an insane stat for the Diamondbacks. The last 4 World Series road games that they've played in franchise history, they have allowed a game-tying 2-run home run in the bottom of the ninth 3 out of those 4 times.
That's wild.
Well, they talked about the last time that they were in the World Series, the game 1. It was like George Bush threw out the first pitch. George Bush threw out the first pitch. It was on the same exact date, same exact time, and they lost in the same exact way with the walk-off home run.
Yeah, there's way too many things lining up for the Diamondbacks in this whole thing. Not necessarily all of them positive.
Diamondbacks in 7.
Put money on it. I dare you.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it'd be a safe bet because right now, other than them choking in game 1, they've looked really well hitting the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think they look good. I genuinely do want the Diamondbacks to win, but
they weren't even one of those teams that were even in the picture in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, they were not.
Which the Rangers, everybody thought were going to be in it because they were making all the big moves, going out and getting Corey Seager, and then at the deadline, you go out and get Max Scherzer.
Turf is just bad for you.
I was going to say, I think we lost Jim a while back.
Like I'm watching this guy run, and when he goes to cut, he just slides. It's still a cut, but the foot still slides a little. It can't be good.
So do we think it's the shoes or the turf?
Well, that's a great question. Maybe they
It depends if you're playing at MetLife.
Then you're just screwed.
All right. Questions for the boys. So the old Oilers uniform, okay, was used today
Yes.
by Tennessee. Okay.
Yes.
JJ Watt had tried to get the Texans to use it when he was playing. How do we feel? Which team owns the right in our minds, not, obviously contractually, to rock the Oilers unis? The Texans or the Titans?
Titans.
I say the Titans because that's the franchise that it was. Just because they relocated doesn't mean they just lose it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it follows the franchise would be my suggestion too.
So not the location, but the franchise.
Correct.
Would you be down for Houston versus Tennessee for winner keeps the unis? And each of them rocking the home and away Oiler jersey.
I think it would be fun if they both did it just for that game, like the home and away.
And then every year they battle for who gets to rock it the following year.
Oh,
I think that just lines up for a corny headline.
That's what the NFL is about.
I think it would be fun, right? That would be a fun thing to look forward to. I don't think the NFL will ever allow it, nor will the Titans organization.
yeah.
I think they should do it. Anyway, moving on. Did you three organize against me to wear fall colors?
You're wearing, what color are you wearing?
Black.
Oh,
That's what you always wear. Even if we organized against you, would you really go against your black attire?
We actually were like, what would be funny if we all do a fall theme and leave Jim out.
That's what it feels
We thought
like.
your we thought your reddish orange hair would count for you.
Got it.
I mean, what how am I fall themed?
Are you brown?
It looks kind of brown.
This is definitely gray. This is gray.
But Jim, you look hunter green.
Nobody cares what I have on.
Very good, Sam.
It's yes.
Because we can't see you.
Yeah, we don't know.
Well, I said I have Christmas clothes on.
Well, now I really don't care because the Halloween's not. Nate, move it away.
Jeez.
No, I had a meeting at Old Navy and it was Christmas pajama themed. So I have
Move it
on.
away.
He's a beaut, Clark.
I'm about to mute her. Until Halloween is over, do not bring that Christmas shit my way.
I think
I'll
that my
say until
favorite
Thanksgiving
thing
is over.
my
Nobody
favorite
cares.
thing is whenever Jim says bring her here or take her away, and he moves I know Nate's moving the iPad or whatever he's on, but it looks like he's actually like pulling Sam into the picture or pushing Sam out.
All right.
It's like when Jim dropped the iPad and it looked like he fell.
All right. 2 more questions.
Okay.
Which noon program do you watch on Saturdays for college football? College game day or the big noon kickoff?
Game day.
Game day.
All of you game day. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you watch, Jim?
I'm a big noon kickoff.
Of course you are.
I am.
It's where you get all your Ohio takes from.
That's right. All right. Which I've watched so many college football games. I got the multi-stream thanks to YouTube TV. I've listened to lots of broadcasts. Is there a broadcast team or a network you prefer?
Yeah, that's. I would say I know that I don't prefer Gus Johnson.
I would second that.
I hate NBC.
I can't even think of who it is on NBC, if I'm being honest.
But
I can't think of a
whoever they
lot
put
of
on
the
there
names
trash.
anyway, aside from like Herb Street and
Yeah.
that whole crew. But other
Yeah, I
than
was gonna
that,
say
no, I
that's
don't
the
like
team
Gus
that
Johnson.
comes to my mind, and I like them, so I don't.
Yeah, I can get behind any game that Herb Street and Fowler are calling.
Me too. Me too. NBC is terrible. They're rival Gus for me. If Gus likes your team, he's amazing.
I don't know, I would say my number 2 though would be who is it on CBS? Is it Musburger and
Oh, why, Nate? Why?
not like for a primetime game, but like I don't know. I just when I think of like growing up, it was like SEC, like the big games, whatever he's
Yeah.
calling. Like I would rather listen to him than Gus Johnson or
Yeah, okay.
I can't even think of who calls the NBC games other than Tarico.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, he's like the 3:30 SEC game. That's Musburger to me.
That is questions for the boys.
All right, and that wraps up this week's episode of Sports Stuff, Jim and Muff. Be sure to engage with us on all the social media. Let us know if there are any topics you want us to chat about. Let us know about any of the opinions you have for or against any of our topical conversations.
Unless it's Michigan love, then fuck you.
You can share all of the opinions, no matter what Jim says.
I don't want to hear your opinion about Michigan.
And next week, we will hear 0 opinions about Ohio State football due to...
So I don't want to hear them.
Because we don't want to hear them. But one thing you can hear about on this week and probably next week episode is titties. Get with us on all the social media, and always tell a friend, make a friend, be a
friend.